Nacho Aliseda did not impress when he first arrived. He also did not impress in practice, per Tyrus. If you want to take a look back at that podcast, he also dropped some great stuff. Tyrus podcast. MenInRed was there for that. But Nacho Aliseda rated at a 5.5. Okay, hear me out before jumping down my throat with this rating. It says the author. Let me check. Reread the author's name. I believe is Lee Gualano. Great author here. So far, I really liked his ratings. I mean, we've debated him, but haven't taken too much umbrage with them predominantly for the most part. But with Nacho Aliseda, 5.5, he occupies a DP spot, a DP slot. Yes, that's true. And that, not saying he's a bad player or a bust. I would say for a DP slot, he's absolutely a bust. He's 19, has a ton of potential. But what is potential? Tell me in the chat. Perhaps it was a red flag that the coaching staff kept him out of the lineup in the MLS's back tournament. He was extremely hesitant with his offensive decision-making and lazy defensively and provided very little in his games off of the bench. 1 goal and 2 assists and a couple of flashes in 16 games isn't a good output for a DP. With all that said, Aliseda can still turn out to be a good signing if he can take the necessary strides forward next year. Pretty good assessment.
Yeah, I might be one of the more outspoken people on how much I'm not a fan of Ignacio Aliseda.
Yeah, maybe you're willing to go a little farther. I mean, we're all sitting here on hope.
Yeah,
But hope from based on
mean,
what?
take everything I say with a little grain of salt. The kid's 19. He's younger than me, so I can't be like the author said. I'm not going to jump down his throat too hard. I used to criticize him because he's not a tall guy. Strength wise, he's strong for his height, but he's going to get bullied by those bigger fullbacks and center backs. But then I thought about the history, Diego Rossi and guys like Sebi Giovinco. Granted, they're like elite players in MLS history, but they have success. And they have success because technically they're good on both sides of their feet, like left and right. And that's my thing with Seda is he's extremely predictable. He has no left foot. Absolutely no left foot. He dribbles continuously with his right. He did score once with his left, which I was like, everyone was going at me on Twitter for. But he just needs more. He needs to be able to use that other foot to be unpredictable. That's what you need your wingers to do. To attack the back line and put their head on a swivel and get them dancing in circles. And I don't think Seda can do that as well as we want him to yet. Now, we know how Heights and Wiki value young players. If they are successfully able to develop him in this next season, the season after, into something quality, maybe he deserves his DP tag. Like I said, he's only 19. He's got a ways to go before we really see what Ignacio Aliseda is all about. But at this point in time, in my opinion, Aliseda is the one DP we have that is not DP worthy. I would be a lot more comfortable with having him on the roster if he was in that TAM role. So yeah, that's the way I look at it. I'm willing to give the guy a break, give him another season. But I think that DP spot could have been given to someone else to help improve the attack significantly quicker.
As a point of just knowledge, when you have MLS allows only 2 designated player slots. Actually, the third you have to pay extra for. You have to pay GAM or whatever. But that third designated player slot is free if they count as a young designated player, which is any player under the age of 21. So I'm fine with him being a designated player unless we can find a better young designated player. Yeah, he wasn't completely bad, but he was invisible. I didn't think about him at all. And that's not a good thing for a designated player to be. So, I don't know, it reeks of like Baruch type stuff with just like signing a designated player and hoping that they're going to be good and then it's not. At this point in time, in terms of the history of fire designated players, I would say that even Anangano is a better designated player than Aliseda was this past season.
Jiggly, you just convinced me.
Did something.
You just convinced me to knock his score lower for me, 4.5.
I wouldn't rate him very low, but in terms of like the gravity of his position, the gravity of like the fact that he is our third designated player, and he's supposed to be this young player that we're going to try to build around, because you cannot say that they're not going to try that they weren't trying to build around him, because he's in a very pivotal position. He is a designated player. They were going to plan to build around him, but now that plan might be just broken at this point. So it's very much a thing of, I don't know. In terms of the way he played, I'd give him a 6 or a 5, because he was just invisible. I didn't think about him at all when we were on the pitch. I didn't think he was a non-factor. And then when you add in how much weight his position takes, I guess, yeah, you would drop him down a bit further then.
Yeah, listen, you gotta hit your winger DPs.
You have to.
You have to. And
that same money could be outlaid on like a Mueller.
Exactly. Or a guy like Diego Rossi, who's Uruguayan, also very young. We've seen what he's been able to do with LAFC. And we also saw what a guy like Jesus Medina, for NYCFC, guy they really valued as a young DP, he's been terrible. And you need to hit, because if you hit, it's going to be great for your team.
The big thing with the way that I think Vicky and Heights are running the team that I don't think we're thinking about too much is they're just going to take a lot of risks and see what happens. I think that's the big thing. That's the reason why a team like FC Basel was able to work for them, because it has the ability to have a large roster. And so if a player does not work out, then, they're just not going to work out and they're not going to be on there. But in MLS, you have limited roster space. You have a salary cap, you have like roster slots, and all of these different mechanisms that makes it hard to play the game of MLS. The game of MLS is not the same as the game of European soccer.
Jiggly, you're making me nervous. You're making me nervous about Wiki and Heights, and to be honest, that was another red flag I had of them. Like you said,
I was nervous about.
This isn't Basel. They don't have the safety net of having such a large team or a youth team and all these things. There are all these mechanisms that are up against them that they have to figure out how to navigate. And to me, they're not doing well. They didn't do well in their first season. In fact, they did really, really, really poorly. And yeah, maybe there's ideas for hope. But you get into another reason for my red flag is we've kind of danced around it. But 2 out of these 3 DPs, we haven't gotten to the third DP yet. But maybe I'm gonna reveal what I already think of him here. But 2 out of the DPs that these guys signed are just not worthy. And obviously to me that's Nacho and Jimenez. Beric to me may be debatably the one DP that's worthy of the DP tag. But 2 out of these 3 DPs that these guys signed are just not worthy of the DP tag. Whatever. Gaston Jimenez, it does not blow my doors off, nor does he blow the doors off this league in any capacity whatsoever. Nacho Aliseda does not blow the doors off this league in any capacity whatsoever. Imagine Arjun Robin for that same out there in that wing. Even though he's 38 years old, he could tear up this league. That's money well spent. That's money that could actually get you somewhere because he's got the quality to go in and wreck these people. Aliseda does not. Jimenez does not have the quality to go in and wreck MLS. Yes, he has the quality to go in and be very good in MLS, but there's a lot of really good players in MLS. He's not DP worthy, and that's another big red flag on this coaching staff and general management that I've seen develop over this last season. Now they are going to have another season of development that we're going to see, hopefully, barring any crazy negotiations with the CBA and the force majeure clause. Check out our last video for any stuff about that, learning about the force majeure clause that MLS wants to invoke, potentially changing the CBA again. But I'm not impressed with what I've seen.
I think that's an interesting point, just, hopping onto the Heights point. He's going to have to learn really quickly how to build a roster that's sustainable in MLS. And some of the players he's brought in are going to be good for that, and some, in my opinion, like Aliseda, are going to be a player that, Heights values a lot, but just doesn't fit into the league. And that's, a skill that a new technical director coming into the league doesn't have. And on top of that, he also doesn't utilize the actual players within the league. I don't think he's made one, internal MLS signing. And when you have a roster that's so limited in space,
who signed CJ?
To have a roster.
Who signed CJ?
Say again?
Who signed CJ?
CJ wasn't signed yet.
CJ was Pano.
Okay, yeah, but that CJ to me was a great idea, like a good move. Oh, he's American, bring him in.
Well,
don't have to use an international spot. Also capable MLS player. Like, yeah, we don't see him making those types of moves.
The other thing,
Which-
though, is that when you think about international slots, this is why I was worried early on. But now, after like Heights basically saying, "Oh yeah, we got 7 players who are about to get green cards," I'm okay with it now.
Wait,
with the
doesn't
way
that
they're
reek of
gonna work.
Enrod though? Oh yeah, we don't have to worry about international
No,
slots.
no.
Eh.
Listen, I don't value
Nelson,
that as
when
much
he said
as
when he said that, when Nelson says we don't have to worry about it, he's more, oh, just don't think about it. Heights specifically said 6 to 7 players are getting their green cards. Frankowski just got his green card. This is very interesting to watch, and I hope that he is exactly right. The things that reek of Nelson are
Somebody's gotta
actually
repeat, by the way.
in league. Yeah, I think that's Matt over there.
Heads
But
up,
the
Matt.
thing with Nelson is that he was the guy who would make in league moves. Dax was a Nelson move.
Mm-hmm.
CJ was a Nelson move. Bornstein was a Nelson move. So technically speaking, what are you saying, that you want Nelson back?
Wow. Is Nelson a better GM than Heights?
No.
Everybody in the chat.
I'm using
what do
it
you guys
as the
think?
as the exact opposite of what I tried.
wait. Okay. Here's my one issue with that. Also, did you guys comment? Is something wrong with my mic? Am I vibrating or something?
Yeah, we were just hitting some reverb.
Oh,
Yeah, we got an echo.
Oh, still?
Cleared up, I think.
Okay,
Oh,
good.
no,
Let me know if that comes back.
Sometimes. We'll see.
Let me know if it is a really big issue. You know what? Let me just hop back in.
Yeah, we'll monitor it.
It's fine because I'm loud.
By the way, everybody, we'll take a moment here. If everybody in the chat or watching live or after the fact could just take a moment and smash that like button for Jiggly and Matt joining us today. Thanks for taking the time here on this just about to be a new year to talk some Chicago Fire stuff with us and bringing us some Chicago Fire content. We greatly appreciate you guys joining the show and greatly appreciate the support we get from all of you guys. Thanks for taking a moment to smash that like button for us and letting us know we're doing good work. Or hit the dislike button. Let us know how you feel. Don't be shy. Also, if you could help hit that subscribe button as we smash our way up to 300 subscribers and break down that glass wall, we would greatly appreciate it. It's awesome. Helps fan the flames of Chicago Fire soccer. And we also talk, NISA. We talk about the new Peter Wilt NISA team here. We talk MLS news. We talk all sorts of stuff.
And when I show up, there's always mention of the NWSL.
Oh, I was talking NWSL in one of my last 2 videos too with the Malpew trade. I would say this, Jiggly. Get this: who made the biggest soccer signing in the league the last 2 years? The Red Stars of the Fire. It's Malpew, right?
Well, I mean, of the last 2 years, that would bring Curran to the equation.
If we go through the last 3 or 4 years of soccer, the 3 biggest signings in Chicago are Kerr, Schweinsteiger, and Pugh.
Well, that's not a signing; that's a trade.
So, I'm just saying those are the 3 biggest acquisitions to Chicago soccer, and 2 of the 3 are made by Chicago Red Stars. What does that tell you about? And also,
I'd say that's
Bastian Schweinsteiger no longer with the team of the Chicago Fire. How does that tell you for ambition?
I think that it means that the 2 teams have are in very different places because the Red Stars are a win now team, and the Fire are clearly not. The Red Stars have been competing for a while, and the Fire have not. And I think that it just shows that the 2 teams are in different places, and so you get big name players when you're close to the end of your road, when you're close to that championship. That's when you get those big name players. I don't think the Fire are there yet. I think that the Red Stars are, and yeah, that's just what they're doing. I could have more things to say about that, but let's make sure that we can get to Collier before Matt.
Oh yeah, definitely. Matt, are you back?
We could. Oh yeah. Also, am I good? Can you hear me?
Yes, you're sounding good.
Great. Can I just one more little tiny bit I need to say before I log? About the 6 or 7 players on international spots. I think that's great, but that's just gonna give Heights permission to go out and get like 5 or 6 more international players that have no league experience. So I think he needs to better utilize the trade market that he has in the league, because if you have such a limited roster, you can't afford to have each year basically just be 5 or 6 completely new guys to the league if you want to be a consistent contender over time. That's all I had to say. Glad to know I'm no more echo.
No, great points.